Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Brian Mariani, and I am very excited to welcome you to our masterclass this evening, the Gut Rules Masterclass. Tonight, we are giving thanks for our food. We're very excited that you are all here. This is a very special time of year where everyone is focused on food one way or another. And we really want to take this time with all of you to talk about how we can really be thankful and grateful and celebrate our food together. And I'm really excited to turn it over to Russell in a minute here. Um, if it's your first time, second time, 100th time with us, my dad, Russell Mariani, and my mom, Megan Moore, co-founded the Center for Functional Nutrition back in 1980. My dad has been serving this world of health and wellness really after he healed himself from a very serious illness at the age of 18. And we have really enjoyed these opportunities that we call the Gut Rules Masterclass to share and create with all of you together. Again, if you're here live, please enjoy. Any questions that you have, you can send to me personally. You can also put in the group chat. This is being recorded, so we will be sending out a recording later this week. And we wanted to also invite all of you, if you would like to share something specifically that you're grateful for this season. Again, you can send it to me directly. You can put it in the group chat. And we also just want to share this very clearly that, Russell has been dedicated to this work for many, many decades now. And he does consider this to be educational. This is not intended to be any kind of medical advice, anything like that. So if you do hear something tonight that makes sense or raises other questions, I will be putting a few links in the chat. You are more than welcome to connect with Russell personally. He has a first step conversation that is completely free, and he would love to connect with anyone and all of you. So without further ado, Russell, over to you.
Thank you, Brian, and welcome everyone to tonight's masterclass. I'm going to do something a little different tonight, and that should be fun, should be interesting. We'll see what happens. But first, I would like to specifically acknowledge our oldest son, Brian, who's serving as host tonight. His mother, my wife, Megan Moore, who is the co-founder of the Center for Functional Nutrition. And I happen to see our other son is here tonight with us. Evan Mariani, wave your hand and thank you for being here tonight. And Ginger and John Frankson are here from Arizona, and Vaso Russo, hello. I haven't seen you in a long time. And I see names of people I haven't met yet. So I hope you do take advantage of that free first step conversation. I would love to meet you in person and see how I can help.
Russell,
So, yes.
excuse me. I think
Yeah.
we have somebody from Australia tonight.
Oh, really?
Helen Pierce. She put it into the chat that she's from
Oh,
Australia. So
wonderful. Wonderful.
special welcome to her.
Is it early morning there? Must be early morning. It's tomorrow in Australia. It's already Wednesday. All right. So, as I was thinking a couple of weeks ago about what I wanted to talk about in this particular masterclass, basically what we've been doing in the past is taking one of the 7 root cause areas, mindfulness, hydration, micronutrients, macronutrient balance, the gut microbiome, oxidative stress, and redox signaling, and taking a session to go into some detail about each one of those root cause areas. But as I was thinking, it's November, Thanksgiving is coming up, I remembered that I had written a poem, and I wasn't sure when I wrote it. I wrote a poem called Giving Thanks for Our Food. And so that became the working title for tonight's class. And then some of that poem was put on the flyer for tonight. And then yesterday, I went back into my archives and found the original version of this poem. It's not long, and I'd like to read that to you, if I can figure out how to do that, because it really conveys a lot about what I believe about health and wellness, what I believe about food, what I've learned about the connection between our food and our health, our food and our cells. And then when I found the original version, I discovered I wrote this on November 22nd, 2001. And of course, in November of 2001, we were all celebrating the first Thanksgiving post 9/11. And so for many of us, probably for most of us, it was a very special Thanksgiving. And then just before coming on tonight, I realized that in 2001, young Evan was only 8 years old, and Brian was 12 or 13 years old. Anyway, so let me see if I can pull this up. I wish I could tell you I have it totally memorized, but I don't. Trying to, all right, let me try this. Okay. Brian, you can still see me, right?
Yep, you're good to go.
So you're not seeing my screen, you're seeing me.
Correct.
Okay. So I called this poem Giving Thanks for Our Food, but the original title of the poem was Food is the Soil. And so I'd like to read this to you slowly, and then we'll see what I'm going to do when I finish. Our body is a garden. This is not a metaphor. It's a fact. The foods we eat, the water and beverages we drink, the supplements and medications we consume, and the air we breathe synergistically combine and become the soil of our blood and lymph, from which every cell in our body receives its daily sustenance. We are the cultivators of our own inner soil. We are the farmers and caretakers of our own earthly gardens. We provide the nutrients. We reject the poisons. We make the choices as to what comes in and what goes out and why. Each cell in our body is a seed. It is entirely up to us how these seeds turn out. Will they blossom into the ripeness of their full potentials? Or will they never know the experience of their own magnificence? As we sow, so shall we reap. Our daily habits determine our health and well-being. Our beliefs determine our behavior. Food is the soil from which the tree of our own life is grown. What is the current condition of my own tree? And what am I going to do about this situation? I am grateful for the garden that is my own body, and for the food which is the soil which nourishes all that I am and all that I will ever be. I promise that on this day I will find and do the things that nourish me best. I will not dwell upon the past, for it is history. I will not worry about the future, for it is mystery. I will live in the present moment, and I will sing the songs within me, and I will experience life as the gift it is meant to be. And that's my poem. And again, I wrote that on November 22nd, 2001. And I used to write a lot of poems, and I used to sing a lot of songs. Brian and Evan and Megan can attest to that. And I still write a lot. I write every day, but I haven't written a poem in a while. So this was particularly meaningful for me to find this original version and to reflect upon my own writing, my own memories of where I was at in my life when I wrote this 24 years ago. And it really does summarize in some very clear ways some of my core beliefs about health and healing. So what I'd like to do for the rest of the call is just have a conversation about mindfulness related to food, mindfulness related to Thanksgiving. So what I'd like to do is to read this poem again and then open it up to comments, questions. Maybe Megan would like to share something. Maybe Brian would like to share something. Maybe Evan would like to share something. And then we can go from there. And you don't have to share anything, Evan, don't worry. Okay, so again, the original title of this poem is Food is the Soil. Several years later, I changed it to Giving Thanks for Our Food. And of course, I wrote this originally a week before the actual Thanksgiving holiday. So I was clearly thinking of Thanksgiving when I wrote this. And so here we go again. Our body is a garden. This is not a metaphor. It's a fact. The foods we eat, the water and beverages we drink, the supplements and medications we consume, and the air we breathe synergistically combine and become the soil of our blood and lymph, from which every cell in our body receives its daily sustenance. We are the cultivators of our own inner soil. We are the farmers and caretakers of our own earthly gardens. We provide the nutrients. We reject the poisons. We make the choices as to what comes in and what goes out and why. Each cell in our body is a seed. It is entirely up to us how these seeds turn out. Will they blossom into the ripeness of their full potentials, or will they never know the experience of their own magnificence? As we sow, so shall we reap. Our daily habits determine our health and well-being. Our beliefs determine our behavior. Food is the soil from which the tree of our own life is grown. What is the current condition of my own tree? And what am I going to do about this situation? I am grateful for the garden that is my own body, and for the food which is the soil which nourishes all that I am and all that I will ever be. I promise that on this day, I will find and do the things that nourish me best. I will not dwell upon the past, for it is history. I will not worry about the future, for it is mystery. I will live in the present moment, and I will sing the songs within me, and I will experience life as the gift it is meant to be. All right. So
Awesome. Dad, I have been
there you
getting
have it.
it's a beautiful poem and very, very timely. And a lot to think about, and there's a lot of really important pieces in there, and I think it sets the tone for what's possible, you know, during this holiday season, and especially, for anyone celebrating Thanksgiving next week. I did get some questions that came in that I think are really timely in terms of everything that you just shared. One of the questions was around just having some anxiety actually about this holiday coming up and being around family and having 1,000 different food options. And, um, you know, the person that asked the question said that they have some challenges with food and things of that nature. So what are your thoughts for those who are going into this holiday maybe with some anxiety?
Yes, thank you for sharing that, Brian, and thank you, whoever asked that question. As much as we celebrate this holiday, I think it's also true, and it's well known in the popular culture that it is also one of the most anxiety-producing holidays for all kinds of reasons. So, my response to that is simply to be mindful, to have something like the poem I read. We all have our favorite poems, we all have our favorite prayers, we all have our favorite affirmations, we all have hopefully our favorite um, uh, tapes to listen to, recordings to listen to, meditations to help us center ourselves and to put our mind at peace or at relative peace, especially going into a major holiday, maybe where we're being with people that we haven't been with in a while, or whether we're going to be alone. So, mindfulness in the context of functional medicine and functional nutrition always means knowing the difference between the complementary and insulting habits in our diet, in our lifestyle, and consciously choosing to practice the complementary habits. But the very first complementary habit when it comes to eating anything is to pause, to wait, to stop, to reflect before you take that first forkful or spoonful or chopstickful and think about where that food came from, where it's going, and why. And many times, if you will do this, you don't have to say a prayer. It isn't anything formal like that that you have to say, but it is maybe the ultimate courtesy that you give to yourself to simply reflect upon your life in that exact moment. And what is it that truly nourishes you best? And are you in a situation that you can feel that sense of nourishment, that sense of quality, that sense of mindfulness? So I think that's what I would like to say about that tonight.
Awesome. We actually had a really cool one here, Dad. Someone that has worked with you in the past just shared that they're very excited because it's the first Thanksgiving that they're really feeling happy and excited about. And they wanted to they wanted you to say, like, for those people who are feeling good, is it a time to just be excessive and do whatever you want? Or, what about people going into the holiday that are feeling good or maybe felt bad for so many years and, finally are feeling healthy for the holiday?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, Megan, Lila is scratching on the door. I'm gonna let her in, and then hopefully that'll work. So, oh no, I can't let her in. The door is latched. So you'll have to either take her with you or let her in here. We have a new dog. She's a year old. Her name is Lila. She's a beautiful black lab mix, pure black with blue eyes. And she's very well behaved. And she just came into the room. Hello, Lila. Go lay down. Go lay down. See that? She's so good. Went right over to her bed and is lying down. Okay, so say that again, Ryan. So for someone who is feeling good, for someone who may have been not so well last Thanksgiving or even for years, and either through working with me or working with somebody or working with themselves, figured out how to restore health to their digestive system, which is almost always the doorway to feeling good everywhere else in your body. I would say my impulse is to say, go for it. My impulse is to say, congratulations, first of all, for having restored your health and your digestive wellness to the degree that you feel free to enjoy. That's the whole point. I write about that in my book. There's phase one where you're not well and you're trying to get well. There's phase two where you've restored some of your normal functioning. But then there's phase three, which really is a place where everything is functioning so well, your body is so healthy that you really are free to eat whatever you want to eat without any negative repercussions, of course, within reason. But the whole idea is to have that sense of freedom that you've earned, that you've created in your body. I often tell people that the only relevant proof that you're healthy, the only relevant proof that your digestive system is healthy, is that you can have the occasional indulgence and not get sick or not feel like you have a food hangover for 3 days or something like that. So when everything is working really well and you indulge mindfully, you don't overdo it. It's why we call these things feasts and festivals and celebrations. Food is one of the most important ways human beings have always celebrated important moments in a person's life and in the life of the town or village or society. So I hope that provides some insight into that question.
Yeah, absolutely. And we often have a lot more people here live, and so we may be a little shorter than we usually are, which is totally fine. Um, my invitation to anyone who's here, who is hearing this live, if you would like to share things that you're grateful for, if you want to respond to the email that we sent out about the masterclass, we'd love to hear from you. We love celebrating people in our community, and we're very, very grateful that you're here with us tonight. Dad, I know that you wanted to share some thoughts around, people who may be struggling around the holidays, people who, might not have, the opportunity to share with family or enjoy meals and things of that nature. I know you wanted to share some thoughts around that tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Yeah, just to kind of say the obvious that um, the images around Thanksgiving include the cornucopia or the horn of plenty, and the Thanksgiving holiday is a harvest feast, a harvest festival. Traditionally, it happened in September or October. It was only designated the last week of November by President Abraham Lincoln in 1863. So while we are celebrating abundance in all ways possible and all ways imaginable, it's also important at this particular time of year to think about those people in our lives or in our communities who may have less, and to, if it's within our means, to do something, to donate to a food pantry or something like that. There are many, many things that people do to help those who have less at this particular holiday event and at other holidays throughout the year. So I just wanted to share that as part of our overall celebration of abundance and mindfulness and intentionality and this wonderful gift and blessing that is food. So many wonderful foods and grains and beans and vegetables and fish and fowl. That was one, one of the things I had put on the flyer was traditional foods. When I think of the work that I do and the orientation I want people to think about and consider, it really is the idea of traditional foods, ancestral foods, and not ancestors 1,000 years ago, but ancestors 2 or 3 or 4 generations ago. Because prior to the Industrial Revolution, which most people point to around 1850, the mid 1800s, prior to that and prior to modern agriculture, what people grew and what people ate and how they prepared it had not fundamentally changed in thousands of years. Culture begins with agriculture. Civilization began, or what we call civilization, began with the cultivation of cereal grains and beans. When people figured out how to grow food in one place, they stopped the hunter-gathering process. That was really the beginning of culture, society, civilization, writing, reading, rules, laws, society. And all of that was possible only through the cultivation of certain staple foods, grains and beans, and vegetables, seasonal fruits, seeds and nuts, and animal foods. So it's still true today that the healthiest foods are organic whole foods. It's so funny, we use this word organic, but again, for thousands of years, that was the only food that was available. It was all organic. and there weren't processed foods, and there weren't genetically modified foods, and there weren't food dyes and chemicals and pesticides and herbicides. There wasn't environmental pollution the way we have it today. So, and it's not to say that people living in the past didn't have their challenges. They certainly did. But the food supply was nutrient rich and mineral rich and vitamin rich. And so this is just something to think about. It's something to think about every day, if possible, but it's certainly something to think about at different holidays throughout the year, and particularly the Thanksgiving holiday.
Awesome. Well, we have very much enjoyed you all being here. I know, Russell, you have some closing thoughts, but it looks like Mom, you have something to say?
Yeah. I would like to share this, Brian. It's a short poem, more like a prose poem by Thich Nhat. And it's about eating a string bean. And I think, Russell, when you were speaking to the mindfulness and intentionality of the food of eating, and then of the food that we do eat, and then what it becomes, which is the soil, our inner soil. I find that very interesting and intriguing. So this is what he says. Now I'm going to read it. It's called Eating a String Bean. Now, can you imagine this? Holding a string bean, and take a moment to see that it is a string bean with the whole world in it. There are clouds, sunshine, the whole earth, and the hard work of the gardener. When we see it like that, we have wisdom. When we have wisdom, it means that we have mindfulness and concentration. Don't chew your worries, your suffering, or your projects. That's not good health. Just chew the string bean.
Awesome. Thank you, Mom. A beautiful poem.
That's great, Megan. Thank you so much. Those are the perfect closing words.
Any wise words to
I don't
send us
have
all
anything
off?
to add. If any, go ahead, Brian.
Nope. Any final last words to send us all off this evening?
Brian, Evan, would you like to share anything? I can share one other. Oh, Evan, go, please.
I was just gonna say, no, I'm feeling pretty good and thankful for family and friends, and that's kind of what I'm bringing to my attention this evening. But I do think Norm was coming off mute as I was coming off, so I'll turn it over to him.
Okay. Norm, hello, nice to see you.
Oh, great to see you, Russell. And been a while since Cancun, but with this particular call in mind and sharing gratitude and Thanksgiving, I am very grateful for your skills and the books that you've written that have guided me to be able to get to that stage where I can go celebrate and eat a meal and not worry about being near the closest bathroom. So I'm very, very grateful for having my gut is fully functional and fully normal now, and still mindful about making homemade butternut soup this morning for my mom and me, and looking at those vegetables a lot more now. So I wanted to
That's
make
great,
mention of
Norm.
that.
You
Thank
have
you so
had
much.
quite a journey. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. I was a little bit late because I was talking to the weatherman on Channel 8 and giving him a card to help him along as well.
That's great.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Norm.
Thank you, Norm. And we have some beautiful messages coming in the group chat. So again, thank you all for being here. It really is, as it always is, a community effort. Thank you, Russell, as always, for your dedication and commitment to your work, to the service that you bring to so many people around the world. Mom, thank you for your poem that lit you up, and I'm sure brought smiles to a lot of other people listening here live and on the recording. Special shout out tonight to my brother Evan, who was here with us live. That was very exciting. And again, we are always going to be committed to providing opportunities like this for us to gather and to build community and to have conversations around the things that matter most, our health, our ability to connect with one another and share wisdom and learn and grow. That's really what makes life extra, extra, extra special. And we get to do that with all of you tonight live. And for anyone that gets touched by what was created here tonight, we hold you in that as well. And we wish you all a wonderful evening. And wherever you are when you're seeing this, have a great one, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.
And happy Thanksgiving.
And happy
Thank
Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Brian.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us tonight.